This is episode 6 of What's Been Better. This week, we're talking about regrets and stage fright. Most of us are pretty fearless kids, but some have grown into terrified adults. It's time to put those regrets down and evict the people that are living in our heads rent free. A heads up to the moms, mother in laws, and anyone else with sensitive ears. We cuss a little, so excuse me, baby. Okay, so we're back. And if you don't know already, I'm Sylvia.
I'm Lori.
Well, let's get this thing going.
So, Sylvia, what's been better?
Um, I think everything being in real time now, by the time this comes out, we have already released the show. So, getting through all the technical parts of releasing the show and being brave enough to release this show has been better because I was
Yeah,
very scared.
I can imagine.
I was very scared, but I think that's what's been better. It's also made me have conversations with people that needed to happen. They were tough conversations. But they were needed.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was better because, again, like living and dying by communication. So having that communication has been really helpful, jarring, but helpful. So yeah, that's what's been better. What about you?
hmm
What's been better for you?
Well, this week I had to face some fears, right? And the first one was as soon as she told me that we were live or about to be live, I said, this shit is real. Like, this just got real. and I was really going with the flow, everything was fine. And then when the reality hit, people are going to be listening to you. I said, huh. So what was better is to be able to relax with that and just be open to that's what you wanted. So you receive what you wanted. And
Exactly.
so and so we're here.
Yeah, we definitely asked for this and here we are. So it was I I'm not gonna lie. Tuesday had a pretty tough conversation and really had a moment of like, okay, how do I call Lori and tell her I don't want to do this anymore? Like I was scared. I was very
Well,
scared.
I would tell you if at any moment you want to stop because this has always been free flowing, you can.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know that. It was and this is why today's episode is called Stage Fright
Mm-hmm.
because I think that's really what it was a case of really intense stage fright because we are very transparent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely sharing like this is happening. This has happened. But I think it's also because I I just have this deep-seated feeling of like this needs to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I don't do it this way, I don't know that I'm going to get as better as I want to be.
Okay. How?
It's like having an accountability partner when you start a new like workout or a new diet or a new something or a new journey, you know?
Right.
It's that you ask for the guidance and you ask for like the backup and I feel like it would be easy to have these conversations in private. It would be easy to not have like proof that you had these conversations. It would be easy if no one knew how I really felt. It
Mm-hmm.
would be easy.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't necessarily think that anything worth having should be that easy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And who wants anything easy? Like a brother don't want an easy chick, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
right. So yeah, nothing really comes just well, and if it comes easy, you might want to ask, how did that happen?
And
Oh,
things like that happen to me. Like I'm like I have to question almost. I'm like, wait a minute, where's the rest? Because that part just came way too easily. And I
right.
say this as a person who, like I've said before, I can learn how to do pretty much anything. Just
Mm-hmm.
show me how to do it one time and it'll
Mm-hmm.
come easy to me.
Right.
But I don't necessarily always think that those skills or those things are as like worth having as much as like something like peace or something
Mhm.
like inner strength or something
Right.
like a real true friendship.
Right.
I think you got to have like highs and lows and twists and turns on things that are really worth holding on to, I guess, to make you appreciate them.
Probably. I would say that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then also letting you know that you're getting closer to another thing, right? So challenges come to help you be probably wiser, you know. So yeah.
Yeah.
So what else?
Uh, um, you know what? I don't know. I'm like kind of, because I'm looking at everything on like the technical side. I am just waiting for like data and waiting for analysis to come in on this, but it still is like it's out. If it gets bigger, it gets bigger. If five people are like, this changed my life, fine. Really, honestly, fine. Like I said, I needed this to be proof that like I've walked through this.
Mm-hmm.
I need
Mm-hmm.
to be able to go back and listen to this on a day when like something else comes up to be like, oh no, no, remember what Lori said. And I learned this week that my memory is terrible. Um, so I definitely needed this because I'm not going to remember all of the lessons.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. And I think the memory part is a doozy because memory on this side is a little challenging or challenged, if you will. I forget most things. So, and I can imagine many people run into this issue, especially
Mm-hmm.
as we get up there in age, because there's so much on our plates.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we're just gonna take it day by day, and yes, and I hope that you won't allow those analytics to get you. Just
I'm using them as a tool to again get better. So if there's something lagging or there's, again like a technical thing that needs to happen, I'm here for that. What I'm not going to use it for, I'm choosing not to use it for is like any type of backlash or something to tell me that I'm not doing enough or not good
right,
enough.
right, the negative feedback.
Right.
And also, I'm glad you said that because these are just little caveats, I guess. But if you get negative feedback, it comes from a place of emotional immaturity. So always recognize that. People always speak to themselves before they speak to others. So if they're speaking negatively to you, they're definitely speaking negatively to themselves. And so they need therapy. And they
That.
need therapy, right? And so that's the thing. So that's if we can really remember that every time and not really sit in that as though we did something wrong, we're just probably not the people for them.
Right. Right.
And is there a blocking feature? Because I'm not sure about that technical part, but is there a blocking feature on that if you get negative feedback?
Oh yeah, everything has a way to block on it, and
Okay, cool.
absolutely.
Then
So
yeah, this is just a positive energy space. Right?
yes,
We're only here for the positive vibes. We're only here for that high frequency
yes,
stuff because that's what we're giving out. We're
absolutely.
sending look, we don't have to do this. Ultimately, I know you're doing this for you and but also other people, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So we can have conversations. It doesn't have to be over these airways.
right.
So
Yeah,
so just word to the wise, negative people, step back
please
or be
and thank
nicer
you.
to yourself. Right. Be nicer to yourself. So
Okay, so
yes.
so you wanted to talk about our stage fright,
Mm-hmm.
and stage fright is definitely a very real thing. And people have stage fright at different ages, at different points in their life, for different scenarios. What what happened to you that you know that you have stage fright?
Well, I think that it's on a continuum, and I didn't realize that. So, and the continuum is the fright gets less and less, and I'm
Okay.
more open to being on the stage, or I'm more open to being in a place that's public, or I'm speaking to more people. Thus, this scenario, right? Whereas I'm nervous about it. I'm not nervous. And I know why I'm not nervous now. It's because I know what I know. And I think that the stage fright comes from feeling like you don't know what you need to know to present. It also could come from the fear of what people might think about you.
Yeah.
But as you develop, you understand that they don't know what I'm about to say. I'm in control of this mic, right? I'm in a place where I have this audience captive. So when you recognize you have that kind of power, it's more of a blessing than it is to be something to be afraid of.
Yeah. I I I believe that it is also everybody doesn't know what you know, like we said in the last episode. Um and I think also if if they could do it, they would do it.
Mm-hmm.
If they were able to be in your shoes or in the position, they would be.
Hopefully.
I just always find it interesting that people feel the necessity to offer up critiques and criticism and judgment out loud to someone in a position of doing whatever the thing is that they're doing. Um, but yeah, like when did it start for you? When did having stage fright? When did you start noticing like, oh, I have stage fright?
I think it started in college because it's interesting when you're younger, it's easier.
Mm-hmm.
And you get coached by your parents, you get coached by your siblings, and then you just get out there and you do your best.
Mm-hmm.
But I was in a speech class in my sophomore year, and the teacher, he wasn't a very nice person.
Okay.
But I realized that I was more, as I think back on it, I realized that I was more sensitive than probably I needed to be. Right. And so, therefore, when he came back with a critique, because we had to get up and we had to do like this impromptu type of speech, and he lit into my behind. He lit into me with the questions, and I'm thinking, how dare you? But it was to push me. I didn't get it.
Right.
So I became defensive. And in my defensiveness, I became embarrassed
Mm-hmm.
because I was imagining these people are my classmates are looking at me being challenged by my teacher.
Hmm.
And I didn't know at the time that the challenge was to bring out better. Right. And so I held on to that for a long time and labeled myself as, okay, hey, you're not this, right? That
Yeah.
self-talk started to come in. You're not this. You're not good at this. So for years, I wanted to do the, what is it called? Toastmasters. So
Okay.
I kept hearing that if you do Toastmasters, you're going to be good. If you do Toastmasters. So then I didn't get around to it. I was intimidated by Toastmasters. So I'm thinking, wow, I didn't get to Toastmasters. I'm surely not going to be good at speaking. And then I started coaching and counseling. And so being comfortable speaking with individuals and then working with couples, that was it. If you can
Okay.
talk to a couple about the couple, you can talk to a whole room because the couple is the major challenge. If you can talk to a couple, you can talk to a family. If you can talk to a family, which I've talked to several families now, please. I'm not afraid anymore. But I had to sit in the seat. So basically going back, I had to actually kind of go back to my sophomore year in college. I had to actually be critiqued again and recognize on that second critique that, oh, you got this. And that's what that was all about.
Hmm. Did you have the same kind of stage fright when you were in a classroom, like when you were teaching?
Maybe the first day,
Oh,
but that after the first day, it went away.
this is completely opposite of me.
Really? Okay.
Absolutely.
You can
Yeah.
tell.
So kind of the same situation you were saying about like when you're a kid, you can just like do stuff. So I was like hands down the most fearless child.
Okay.
Um, and a lot of it was out of spite. I recognize that now. A lot of it was out of spite of like people questioning me because we've discovered I don't like to be questioned, or people
Well, that's
doubting
kind of
me.
right. That was kind of similar to me, right? Being questioned. All right, keep going.
Yeah. So people doubting me, I was just like, I could do it.
Hmm.
My mom loves to tell the story. I think I was like kindergarten or first grade, and they were having a talent show at school. And I literally like burst into the house and I was like, I'm going to do this talent show. I'm going to do dance and acrobatics. And this is the outfit that I want to wear. And my brother's going to do the music. And I like had this whole thing planned out.
Right.
And my mom was like, Are you sure? And I was like, Yeah, it's fine. I totally have it figured out.
How
And
old were you?
I was, I could not have been more than like 7. I was like
Okay.
5, 6, or 7. I do not
Okay.
remember.
Okay.
Um, but when I say I had like a coordinated outfit, I had the little mat laid out, and there's like video of it somewhere, and just got up there and was like, whatever, I could care less. Like, if you like it, you like it. I don't even have to win the talent show. I just wanted to do it. And the more anybody in my family was like, Are you sure you want to do this? I was like, Yeah, duh, like totally.
Right.
But as the years went by, and as more people would say, Are you sure? The more I would be like, Well, maybe I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't,
Right.
maybe,
What
you
do you
know,
know about that now? What do you know about that? Are you sure?
number one, what I think I figured out is that they weren't willing to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That they didn't have
Mm-hmm.
an example of it. So, and if you can't see it, you can't imagine it.
Exactly. So they were coming from their own perspective of are you
Right.
sure? Because they wouldn't be sure. They wouldn't have the courage to do what you were about to do.
Right. And I see that and I get it now. But at
Mm-hmm.
the time, no.
Yeah. It wasn't
But
there.
I carried that forward, got all the way through college, um, dance. I didn't care about being on the stage. I didn't care about like I did the public speaking classes, and obviously, you do all your education classes where you have to get up and present and do things. And those weren't, they were fine. They weren't that big of a deal. I think also because again, I'm the practice, 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 get it right. So that way you don't have those critiques. I'm always putting up that barrier some kind of way, but I
Mm-hmm.
didn't get any of that feedback.
Right. Right.
So it didn't happen to me. I was like a fearless child all this time. It was not until I was an adult when those critiques came, those nitpicks came, those middle managers telling me, like, you're not good enough, or the kids will never respect you because you're dark skinned, or, just any and everything that they could come up with, that
No.
all the fear and the doubt and the like really terrified
Right.
situation of like, I don't know if I can do anything
Right.
came up.
How did you get through that? Because like for instance, what just came up for me, and I think I got triggered just now when you said something about the middle manager, one of them saying you wouldn't be, I guess, listened to or respected because you're the dark person. Now, how did that show up?
Um, it showed up as a lot of hate that became self-hate.
Okay. Then did it come from a teacher? Did it come from
It came from
uh,
the assistant principal.
okay, so assistant principal said to you that students wouldn't respect you basically because you're dark.
The words I just said. Yep.
Is this in is was this in another country that
Yeah.
was? Oh,
Hmm.
okay. And how did you overcome that? Because it sounds like there was an overcoming that
Oh,
happened.
I did not overcome that. It got worse. Like it. No, I didn't overcome that. I didn't
Okay.
overcome
So
that.
you believed it.
I believed a lot of things that that person said. That I
Okay.
was dumb, that I was unprofessional, that I didn't know what I was doing, that I didn't know my content, that that it was a mistake that I was working there. But also in all of that, I was like, well, release me from this contract. Let me leave. And they
Mm-hmm.
were like, no, we don't have anyone to replace you. You have
Oh,
to
okay.
stay and
So we
finish
have to
out your
settle for
contract.
you. We
Yeah,
have to settle with you. Oh my goodness.
literally. So
It
how do you run through
mm-hmm.
the 4 agreements? How do you not take that personally? How do you
Mm-hmm.
How do you continue to do your best? How do you
Mm-hmm.
continue to be impeccable with your word? How do you
Right.
do those things when this is the
Mm-hmm.
bombardment from not only your assistant principal, but also from your department chair as
Mm-hmm.
well, who also is not necessarily providing the reinforcements that you need. You're in a country where you don't speak the first language, you only speak the second language. And when you walk into the meetings, they won't speak English.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
Well, and so
So,
what did you do?
um, number one, I just kept doing my job because
Mm,
that's all I knew how to do.
exactly.
But what I didn't do was I didn't live. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't enjoy my time outside of that space like I should
Okay.
have.
Okay.
Um, I think I've said this before. The more distance I'm away from that, it's 10 years this year away from that.
Mm-hmm.
The more I realize, oh man, I really liked living there. I
Oh, well,
just didn't like working there.
I get it. I get it. And so, was there any silver lining while you were there?
Oh yeah, all the travel, all the
Mm-hmm.
like watching my husband go through everything that he went through because I mean, he lived the life.
Mm-hmm.
His job was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Um and like the connections at the time. Now those connections are not the same because again, like 10 years, people
Mm-hmm.
change.
Mm-hmm.
Um a lot of things changed once America went through what it went through after George Floyd, and those people weren't who I thought they were.
Right.
Um, so, but the connections at the time that I made were like really good connections
Okay.
in that situation. And I think, a lot of times when you have really deep connections with people in traumatic situations that you're both going through, you don't realize a lot of times that like that's the only thing that you have in common.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
now you're still trying to feed off of the trauma and the anxiety and all those things.
Right.
So, but yeah, I think another thing that I draw strength from it now is that I survived all of it when
Yes, yes, you
I don't
did.
know how I survived. I don't know how I'm sitting here today because that broke something in me that I think I was trying to explain this before is like I don't believe myself.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in myself. I know I'm capable of doing anything because,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I can pick up whatever and learn how to do it. But I don't believe myself when it's like a red flag or when it's a situation where it's like, ooh, Sylvia, what does your gut tell you?
Mm-hmm. Well,
I
I
don't
think
believe myself.
right. I think we talked about that before.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the question would be is do you think it's possible that you can?
Yeah, I do now.
Okay, good.
Now, but
Okay.
and I recognize it. That's what I guess I'm trying to say now is like I recognize that that was the moment where the break happened. So
Mm-hmm.
now I just have to mend that break.
Exactly. And I think you are mending it. There,
Yeah.
even this situation, us even talking about it. What would you say that you learned from that experience?
That it had nothing to do with me.
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
none of that was on me. Like I
Exactly.
wasn't willing to play the game that was set up, but
Mm-hmm.
that didn't mean that I was wrong necessarily, or
Exactly.
that I can teach. At the heart of it,
Exactly.
I can. Like I didn't just get out there and do it for nothing. Like I can do it.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and that my way doesn't always have to be the way for everyone. Like I'm not palatable for everyone, and I'm okay with that.
Thank you. And your freaking pigment had nothing to do with your ability.
Really though, I mean, I understand that definitely. At the time, I was like, I know the hell this is not possible for you to say this out loud, but I had to realize, like, in another country,
Right.
this person is from the continent. You are
Right.
not. You're so
Mhm.
there's all automatically like that strength of stride between like somebody that is from Africa and African American.
Exactly.
That long history is there. So, but when you're getting punched in the face, it's hard. I don't have a better word. I know you're going to tell me don't say hard, but it's that was a
Yeah.
challenge. That was a
Yeah.
challenge
Right.
to
And at
get
some point
punched.
you learned how to duck though.
Yeah, yeah. And
You have to learn how to do
with that person and the other, with the department chair as well, it was just like, no, do whatever you can to avoid those people.
it. Thank you. And that is it.
Which is
So how
difficult because like they're over you.
I hear you, but when you mention the four agreements, and it's like, how do I not take this personally? Well, one of the things is you avoid, right? You're gonna
Yeah.
have to do. You have to pull out all the strengths, every little, even if it's something that's so tiny, like you see somebody going down one hallway. Oh, I'm gonna go down this one.
Yes.
Like it's just that simple,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. To get your strength back. So I'm gonna kind of pull it back to the stage fright. Was there any stage fright there? Or was that whole experience like a symbolic stage fright?
So I had no stage right going into it.
Okay.
None.
Right.
Um, I was willing to like learn the language. I was willing to do the work. I it was not anything that I wanted. So okay, let me explain this. When I interviewed for the job, I got the job and they said, "Okay, these are the positions that we have open. Um, give us like your ranking of like what you want,
Right.
and then we'll try to like match you up."
Right.
So when we were leaving America, I was like, "Okay, I've been teaching chemistry all this time. Um, I want to like flip to doing physics now. Like I'm just
Right.
kind of over it." So when they asked me what did I want, I said, I want to teach all boys. I don't want to deal with girls. Absolutely not. I
Mm-hmm.
want to teach physics and I want to teach in Abu Dhabi City, like proper Abu Dhabi. I got all girls,
Mm.
chemistry, and teaching in the desert, in a desert city.
Wow.
So I got nothing that I wanted. But because it was a situation where it was kind of like a desperate situation, we needed to get out of America. We needed to like go make a better life because at the time when we left, it was like the economy was terrible. So it was like, these are your options.
Right.
Move to another city in America where it might not work out, or here's this opportunity to like move across the world. I'm going with across the world. And again, I think I said this in like episode 4 of like, I was like, I'll just get happy later.
Right.
I'll just figure
Okay.
it out later. So it was like, oh, I don't want to teach all girls.
You have more
Oh.
strength than most. Let me just let you know. You girl, bye.
Okay. So I was like, okay, you could teach chemistry. It's the same textbooks because they were using American textbooks. I was like, okay, it's the same book. I have all the same resources. It's fine. I can figure that out. Okay, it's a smaller city. Okay, we can figure it out. We have cars. You can drive there. It's not, it's not a big deal. We'll just figure it out. A lot of it was like, we'll just figure it out. We'll just get happy later.
Right.
And it was not. And I don't, I know you're not supposed to have regrets, but I believe that that's probably like, I have 3 regrets. And that is probably top, that's the one where I'm like, ugh, why didn't I just? So, number one, why didn't I advocate for myself and see, like, hey, is there a different position available somewhere else?
Mm-hmm.
Or when I was like, let me out of this contract, why didn't I really like push for like, let me out of this contract?
Mm-hmm.
And why did we leave? Because my husband, like I said, he was like loving every bit of it. Like it was great for him. We
Mm-hmm.
jokingly tell people, not necessarily joking, we lived 2 totally separate lives for 2 years, 3 months, and 23 days while we were there. Like it was totally different. His version of it is like daisies and glitter, and everything is gold, and everything is just like beautiful. And my version of it is like my job. It was
Right.
awful.
So tell me this: how can you overcome the regret right now? What would you say that could help you in all your knowing, even about that experience, that can help you overcome this regret?
I have to forgive myself and actually believe that I forgive myself.
Okay, and what would you be forgiving yourself for?
Not being as strong as I am right now, not knowing that I was this strong even then.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, and tell me what difference that makes.
It makes a lot because it's like, um, number one, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
Can't change it, can't do anything
Yep.
about it.
Absolutely.
Um, I can always go back and do it better. Like
Yeah.
like physically pick up our stuff and like move back and do better.
That's exactly.
I have more choices than I think I have.
Mm-hmm.
And that damn, I'm just capable.
Girl. So slam dunk, boom, right there.
I mean, yeah, for real, for real. At the end of the day, and it's just kind of like, you know, those people were going through things that they were going through. They chose to dump all of that on me.
Yes, because guess what? It's almost like they sniffed you out, and that will happen in every space.
Absolutely.
People get sniffed out when you're the empath of a thing, or that
Hmm.
person who's nice and sweet and kind. You're not mean and hateful and shit. Like, yes, that can happen.
I've always thought about this that like I have like an invisible tattoo on my forehead that's just like she's kickable. Kicker. You know?
What's interesting is you grow from that and they don't. So now I wonder where the regret is if you found like two or three reasons to get over the regret, right? And one of them was basically to say, I can go back over there and kick ass. Like I can go back over there with the knowledge that I have and do damage,
Hmm.
some good damage. Yeah. So yes, you can do that. And maybe that experience sets you up for all the things that you're experiencing now so that you have this growth, this overcoming.
Yeah. I
Things
think
happen for a reason.
I think I another thing that I kind of wish regret, I don't know which way to say it, is that I carried that forward to other jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think also because I went there carrying the previous job and the previous department chair
Right.
and their nonsense.
Right. And you see, you remember when I said whatever you think about, you bring about.
Yes.
And when you think about these things, they have friends.
Mm-hmm.
Those thoughts
They
have friends.
they have little
And
tentacles.
right. And they grab hold of those negative things. So, but you didn't know that then, but you
No.
definitely know it now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I know it now. Um, but it definitely I see now that like that I've stepped away from having stage fright as much.
Mm-hmm.
I would have never gotten on the radio had I had
Exactly.
like the same stage fright.
Right. Right. Who, me either. This wouldn't be. It
Right,
wouldn't be
right.
taking place.
Like I don't think I would do this show if I
Mhm.
still had the same stage fright. Like
Right.
because it was a lot to be like, okay, I'm going to get on the radio. Like
Right.
small station, big station, whatever. People are listening to you say these words. I think I had to get over the stage fright, or like there wasn't enough room for the stage fright because I had to get it right. So I had to worry
Exactly.
about that and not worry about like, oh, I'm scared.
Which is huge. And that's what everything. You have a choice. Do I
Hmm.
allow this fear to overcome or do I meet the challenge by saying, yeah, I am a little afraid, but I more want this to take place than I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Fear, you can go ahead and take a back seat. I'm gonna be okay.
Right. Right. And I think too, it's like, if you're busy enough, you don't have time to think.
Right.
You
And
just don't.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
You don't have time to think. Um, so yeah, I think like it's just like okay, Sylvia, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Okay.
let's not do that again.
Right.
And if you're gonna do something similar, it'll be fine regardless.
Right.
Um,
So
yeah.
let me ask you this. In place of the regret, what could you have instead for going over there?
Wow. Um, I think the memories and the appreciation for like the things that I learned and the
Yep.
things that I saw and the things I experienced
Mm-hmm.
and
Because
just
then
being
you
able.
see,
Oh, go
mhm.
ahead.
No, just being able. Let me let you finish.
Just being able to. I know truth now. I know facts about things now because I've seen them with my own eyes. or I've
Right.
heard them with my own ears.
Right.
So things about religion, things
Okay.
about the Arab world that we don't get told in America, things about like food and just different things that I was able to experience. It's like I hold that in a bigger place than I hold all of this. Like I have to put this stuff down.
Right.
So
And when you say put it down, you're putting down that negative experience, or what are you putting down?
I'm putting down the regret from the negative experience because I think again, like you gotta go through stuff in order to figure out stuff.
Absolutely.
And if that experience was so easy, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you.
Right.
I wouldn't be doing any of this.
Right. Exactly. And you found appreciation instead of regret. And when you lean into that appreciation, guess what else? Appreciation has friends. So you can add to that appreciation and think about all the things you did while you were there that you can appreciate.
Yeah.
Like I think you said you went to Sri Lanka.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Like all the places you might have not considered even going, but that gave you an opportunity to go because you were there.
Not even not going because I consider going everywhere. So does my husband. It's the opportunity and having the money to go,
Okay.
having the time to go instead of that being, like being able to go to Malaysia.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of having to go from here, from Atlanta to Malaysia, I was able to go, like Middle Earth, just straight over. It's not a long flight anymore.
Right.
I was able to spend almost a month in Europe.
Look at that.
Who gets to do that? You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Not
those
many.
portions, those are the parts that I like carve out and I like put on the shelf. And I'm like, oh, this is so good. Oh,
Yes.
this is great.
And I will tell you, if we start to look at the regret, those type of beautiful things have to take a back seat.
Right.
And so would you rather look at an ugly picture or a beautiful picture?
Exactly. 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 And I spent a lot of time looking at the ugly picture or, excuse me, or letting the ugly picture sit in the middle of the room. And it's like,
Exactly.
but you're not cute.
Right. You don't bring me joy. You don't bring peace to my life. When I
Right.
see this beautiful picture over here, all the things that I can appreciate about this experience. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's just
Yeah.
such a beautiful day. Girl,
Yeah.
bye regrets.
Really?
Kick rocks.
Get the hell
Boom.
out.
Right.
Yeah. It just it was difficult to walk through, but it was worth walking through. And it's something that I would walk through again because I know what it'll bring me.
Mm-hmm. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that
Yeah.
you recognize that.
Yeah. And it did work like wonders for my actual family, like my little team here.
Mm-hmm.
It did wonders for us. Like if you are really a partner to your partner, you'll walk through the fire if you have to.
Mm-hmm.
You will hold the boulder up if they need to crawl out. You will do those things for the
Mm.
person.
Right.
Not necessarily intentionally, but you'll do it if the situation like shows up.
Right.
So for me is like watching my husband like thrive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can like deal with a little bit of crazy. You know,
Right.
I
That
have better tools now also. So that's also why I'm like, yeah, well, you're talking crazy, you're talking crazy. I don't know who you're talking to,
right.
but go
Yes.
ahead.
Look at you. And I think that experience there gave you muscle for now.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's it. Wait, say more.
Well, I think challenges help you to exercise, in a sense, exercise certain strengths that you didn't know you had. And then when you get into a harder situation or something that seems more challenging, you have the momentum, you have the ability to meet it because you've already been challenged by something that you didn't think you can make it through. And somehow you did. And
Yeah.
so when you make it through a thing, you can face so much because you faced some stuff over here when you got back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, this whole show, episode 1. If you haven't heard it, go back and listen.
Do you get what I'm
Um,
saying? So had you
yeah,
not experienced that, maybe this could have taken you out. Who knows?
it to be very honest, it could have. It almost did. I mean, it was at one point the doctors. First of all, the doctors there were amazing. Never have I been to a doctor in America where they pray over you,
Oh,
but they
wow.
did there. It was one of those. But it came to a point one time where my doctors were like, if we could prescribe you a plane ticket away from here, that's pretty much the only thing that we could prescribe. It
Wow.
was it was just that bad.
Right.
It was just that bad.
Yeah, because the negativity had taken its toll on your system.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And you were fighting a good fight. You really were. I can imagine.
I think a lot of it too is like because I didn't have the tools, I wasn't equipped. It um hit harder than it would have with most people. So
Mm-hmm.
that's also another thing of like, why am I like this? You know, thing.
Mm.
Because I always feel like I could handle things a lot better if I first of all remembered that I've already seen something similar,
Mm-hmm.
or if I already had practice as a child of this situation happening. Because I think I've said this before, is like a lot of people get life lessons when they're kids. And if I didn't get them until I was 30, you've
Yeah. Well, you
had
got
like
all of them.
you've got like 25 years of practice and I got like 5 minutes. That's totally
Right.
different. That's totally
Yeah, it
different.
is. But what's interesting is what does not kill you does what?
I would hope that it makes you stronger.
Yeah. That's exactly what it did. Did it not?
See, okay, we say this and I don't know. I honestly don't know if it made me stronger because look at the beginning of this show and look at how I handled the ghosting and look at how I handled like losing that gig and like look at how I handled those things. So I don't know. I feel like I'm stronger today.
Mm-hmm.
Was I stronger 60 days ago? I don't know. Should I have been? Yes, but I know what you're going to say about shoulds. So,
Yeah. Not gonna say anything about shit in this moment. I've learned I'm not gonna correct a person in that moment, right? Unless it's totally necessary. But I would say, right, it could have been worse, is what I'm trying to say. In those moments, sometimes we when we look back on things, because hindsight is, oh my goodness, hindsight is just has the best sight, right?
mhm,
We're not gonna always be as strong as we need to be in that moment,
yeah,
but we are stronger than we would have been, you know. And so that's the thing. You are stronger in that moment, those things we talked about in episode 1, than you would have been had you not gone to Dubai.
yeah.
It could have really been tougher. You probably would have really spazzed out in a way. You, like you said, I think you mentioned that you would have cussed them out or something like that. You didn't do that.
I should have. Um, I, I, I wish that I would have been in more defense of myself this this recent time.
Right. So that could be
Like
something you
that strength
learn.
I should have dragged forward,
Right.
but
But
I
you
just
can't
didn't.
know it, right? You don't know what
No,
you don't know.
you don't know
But
what you
you
don't know.
but you know now. So we look at what we learn, right? Instead of how we failed, and this is for everybody. And I really want people who listen to this, while this conversation is between me and Sylvia, it really is a bigger conversation. And it could be between yourself, you know, you and your thoughts, me and you, like, you know, just look at the situation as it is, right? But you could have done a whole bunch of different things and you just chose not to, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was very close. Let's let me be very transparent about that. I was very close.
Right.
In both situations.
Right.
But those things manifested as other harmful things to myself. So, like I was saying before, in that time, because all of that nonsense in Abu Dhabi happened within the first like 6 to 8 months.
Oh, wow.
So, within that first 6 to 8 months, because I was just like, well, now I'm miserable, I gained 63 pounds in the
Okay.
first 4 months of that.
Oh, okay. You must have been
Okay.
eating some good food, girl.
It was amazing, but I was also not doing anything else.
Right.
So now I've given myself like a laundry list of health complications
Mm-hmm.
because when you gain that much weight that fast and you're
Mm-hmm.
not doing it for like I got to beef up for this wrestling
Right.
match or I got to do something for this boxing match, you're just doing it and then you are mentally unstable. It
Right.
was a mess. It was a
I can,
total mess.
yeah, I can imagine. And how did you get through it?
I obviously didn't. It's still like the only thing I could do was just keep going every day because I didn't have a choice but to keep going
Mhm.
every day.
Yes, yes.
So,
But the
and it
health
was rough.
challenges, right? I get it. What I'm asking though is, um, did you lose? Did you lose some of the weight? Did you
It took
get your?
years and then
Mm-hmm.
COVID happened and now I've put back on like however much I put back on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it took years to lose all of that weight.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I felt amazing when I lost all the weight. I felt like my old self. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
this is who I was.
Right.
Um,
And while you went through that space, I can imagine that there were lessons. And that's what I was saying, as I speak to everybody, there is a lesson in everything we go through.
mhm,
And if we look at the lesson instead of beating ourselves up about what we could have done, we can't ever could have.
mhm.
It's impossible. But you can look at what happened. You can, even if you speak about it, like, I hated that. Okay. Now, what are you going to do about it? What did you learn? And what are you going to do differently?
There it is. Because I would just like speak about it and then it would just fester. I did nothing about it. Nothing. I would just go to the next job and hope for the best, knowing good and well that it wasn't going to be the best because
Right.
I saw the red flags in the next situation and the
Mm,
next and the next.
right.
Um, because I was trying to explain this to a friend of mine. I get whispers, pebbles, and then a boulder to the forehead all the time with any situation. I mean, like it'll just be a little whisper of like, you see that? Are you looking? Do you see it? Do you see it? I see it. I hope you see it. Then I get like, like in those old movies where the person like throws a little pebble at the window so that way
Mm-hmm.
you notice them. I get those like, hey man, we tried to tell you. Are you looking? Do you
Right.
see it? And I'm always like, it's fine. It'll be fine. And then I get a boulder to the forehead because I was like, I tried to tell you to get out.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to tell you to block. I tried to tell you to like not do this thing.
Does that happen every time?
It
Or
happens
are
every
there,
day.
well, let me ask you this then. Has there ever been a time when you listened before the boulder hit?
Yes, but it had nothing to do with me.
Okay. So are you saying it never is a situation about yourself that the boulder misses you because you caught the pebble?
No, because this is the thing again about like what I was saying before. I didn't trust my own words.
Okay. Do you trust a little bit of your words now?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then
Um,
you've overcome some boulders. You just might not recognize them.
oh yeah, no, I recognize it now.
Okay.
Um, it's a thing of like, yeah, I hear myself.
Mm-hmm.
Will I listen to myself? And so now I'm trying to be more in tune and more
Nice.
like, oh, Sylvia, you see
Yes,
that.
ma'am. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, but every situation, every, especially in if I was like changing jobs,
Mm-hmm.
it would be that I would look around the room or I'd be in the interview or something and I'd be like, no, maybe it'll be fine.
Right.
Or I think too, especially when you have scarcity brain of like you're going to run out of resources or you're going to run out of money, you're kind of always doing things because you have to. And I was doing a lot of things that like I don't have a choice. I have to do this. I just have to accept it. I'll get happy later. So it was
Right.
like,
And
put those whispers away.
I love that you said the scarcity brain, because when that brain leaves and you can put the abundance brain in its place,
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the things that you run into, you won't,
Right.
but it's an intentionality that has to come upon you. I have the abundance brain. I can do this, or I don't have to do this,
Mm-hmm.
or I will suffer lack or a loss rather. I can suffer this loss because this is not for me, because I see that pebble. I see it because I have the abundance brain.
Yeah.
Scarcity brain will tell you every time to look past that pebble. Yeah, it's no big deal, right? Because I need this. You feel like you have to have something, and you don't ever have to have anything. We choose everything we choose.
Now, do you have like, I know you don't have regrets about stuff because you don't should or could.
Well, that's not necessarily true. I've had
Oh,
regrets in the past too. I've had lots of regrets.
I'm
Right.
talking now though. You don't do that now, right?
Mm, I think about them differently, right? So I look
Okay.
at them as, because regret to me is like almost to say, I didn't do that right, or I should have done this,
Mm-hmm.
or like that thing. But or I failed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't think of anything as a failure. I look at it as maybe a misstep. And sometimes you misstep because you don't see what you can see.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes maybe something else is there to distract you, to keep you from seeing what you need to see. Right.
Right.
So instead of me saying, I regret this, I'm asking myself, what can I do better? And that's my mindset every time. What can I do better? Okay, that happened. Okay. And sometimes it might hurt. Sometimes I'm sad. I feel what I feel. And then I reach for feelings that are better. Right. I start to look at how do I want to feel instead.
Wait, how do you
So,
do that? I'm sorry. Wait. We have to stop right there at that part. How do you do that?
well, I feel what I feel like, and I talk to my fiance about this too. Like if I'm sad about something, I'm, I experience the sadness. Like maybe I'll cry, or maybe, I might cuss a little bit. I don't know, but I'll
Mm-hmm.
go through that sadness, or I share it. And then once that's over, right, how do I want to feel about this? I want to feel a little bit better. How can I feel a little bit better? And I can't reach for like, oh, I want to go singing in the park, right? Or I want to, have a whole better experience, but I can feel a little bit better. And so that's my choosing. We choose how we feel. And I think we give up our power to do that when we hear things like, you made me this, um, this happened, and that makes me mad. But if instead I'm angry when, and as we own how we feel, we can decide to feel differently. That's our power, right? So now when we talk about regrets, it's not so much that I don't have regrets, it's just I don't stay in the regret, right? I allow the regret to take place, and then I move from it. And the regret is, oh, wow, that happened. I didn't like it. What can I do differently? So I learn from the thing, and then I decide how I want to move.
So the thing, the regret or whatever it is, like the thing that's that kind of like spike in the road, it doesn't give you like anxiety on doing the
No,
next thing. Okay.
no,
For me, it
because
does.
regret. Oh, okay. Well, so we're going to work through that, right? But regret is, I didn't want that shit to happen.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times you don't. That's all
Right.
regret. Man, damn it. Why did that happen? Well, it happened because it happened. And so I don't linger in it. I'm not sitting in it, because in sitting in it, remember, regret has friends. Regret has doubt as a friend, guilt as a friend, shame, upset, frustration. And I'm not trying to get down with none of that. Right. I want to live in a world where I'm vibing really high all the
Mm.
time. Now that doesn't always happen, but I can get on that road, and so that's the thing. I choose to have peace, and that's my ultimate thing in life, just to have peace and joy, right? Prosperity, those type of things. And they don't hang out with regret. Prosperity don't hang out with sadness and grief and shit. Like, they're not friends, right? So that's why regret and prosperity, regret and joy, they not friends. So
So how are they coexisting in my head though? Because for as much peace as I'm seeking, for as much better as I feel, for as much just like trying to go forward and moving forward, but each foot forward, anxiety is still sitting on my chest.
Mm-hmm. It's a choice every day.
Damn.
It's a choice every day. And anxiety, all it is fear of the future, fear of what will be, right? And so then we decide we're not in charge of the future. I don't know what tomorrow's going to be. It's not my problem. I'll let tomorrow handle tomorrow when it happens. In the meantime, I have now, and that's all that matters. And I'm having a ball. I'm having a ball talking to you. Like, this is
Mm-hmm.
beautiful, and this is in this space. I don't know what I don't know about tomorrow or in the next 5 minutes. So then anxiety can't exist if I'm not worried about what I don't know.
Okay. Damn. Brain on fire. Um, okay. Okay. How
What do you think about that now? Now that when you said your brain's on fire, what comes up?
it comes up that I have a lot more choices than I think I have.
Right.
That these emotions don't necessarily have to control me.
Nope.
That um it's just like pushing me and pushing me further away from the past
Right.
to like right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because so much of everything that like how I move and how I navigate and what I do has to do with like past examples.
I see.
So it's like, that shit doesn't necessarily matter. Not for
Nope.
real.
Nope.
Like, all right, you know how to do that thing, or that thing happened, but it doesn't matter. Keep going.
Well, it doesn't matter, and you don't have to commentate on it all the time. I think
No.
we have too much commentary on the things that didn't go right
Mm-hmm.
instead of giving ourselves compassion for it to say, you know what? It's okay.
Right.
Did you live through that? Yeah, I lived through it. You want a hug? Yeah, I want a hug. How you feel? I feel a little bit better. Okay, cool. Let's get down. Let's
Mm-hmm.
move from this place. We don't
Yeah.
have to keep talking about that as though it overtook us. It didn't. We're still
Okay.
alive.
That's it right there. Is that thing, those people, that list of people that live in my head don't have to live there.
No,
Like
kick
that.
them motherfuckers
Oh my
out.
God, that shit. I just,
Kick them out right now. Eviction, they ain't paying. Right? They ain't paying even to say.
right. Living rent free in this damn
Thank you.
thing.
Oh, no, no,
Uh,
no. It's
and
a new day.
it's, and I know it's something else that you want to talk about. Is like, I am like the victim of my own hellish nonsense because I keep letting these people live in my head.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And so instead of being a victim, and I think in our next, I guess it'll be our next episode, we can go right into that victim space. But yes, right. So to give like a little preview of what's to come is to say, no, no, I'm not gonna keep getting my ass kicked by my past.
Mm-hmm.
No, get to stepping. And so instead of being a victim, now you get to really be a victor
Yes.
because it's your choice.
Here we go again. I'm letting Lori have the end of this one. Again, she always has a way to just wrap it up, and there is no need to compete with it. Damn it. Go ahead, Lori. Yes. That was, yes. Yes, yes, yes. All right. That's the show. Like, ooh, we did another one. I'm proud of us. But we're gonna see y'all in the next one. I'm sorry. We are back one more time because Lori is over here dropping gems after I push stop. Lori, please tell me again what you just said about like owning your shit.
Yeah. When you are triggered, it's mainly because you haven't owned your stuff and you're mad that somebody else took advantage or has more authority in that space. You not might not say it just like that, But the reality is we give people power. We give situations power over us. And when we stop and when we own how we feel, that power stops. And then we can stand. It's like overstanding. My nephew says a lot, I overstand the situation. And I love that because you don't have to understand it. You can overstand it. You can stand over it in a sense of, I have power over myself and I have power over someone else trying to take authority over my thoughts. And so if that's the case, there is no space for triggers. It takes time. It takes time. It's not like, oh, you're going to instantly be free of triggers, but it's recognizing the triggers when they come. And when they come, if you sit with yourself for a second and recognize, oh, I'm being triggered because, and we own it. We say our eyes, I feel this. This is happening because I know, this, or I know that, and once you know it and once you own it, take, accountability for it, you can be free.
That's it, y'all. I promise. We're gone this time. Wow. Thank you, Lori. I appreciate you.
Yeah. Good, girl. I'm happy. I'm so happy I have this opportunity to share this because it needs to come out.
Yes.
One day I might not be here. I'm just thankful for what has been given me, and I have to practice it too. It's not like I'm delivered. I'm not. My fiance will tell you, this girl got some issues. I got some, right? I got plenty of them, and I'm working through them. I'm just thankful to know it, to work through it, because I want to be free. And when I think about having peace, the only way to have peace is to let go of the stuff that holds you hostage. And triggers are things that hold you hostage.
All right.
That's it for this week's show. I'm Lori Scott.
I'm Sylvia Johnson, and you've been listening to What's Been Better.
A big thank you to Lagan Music Inc. for providing our music. This show is edited and produced by us with a little help from our family and friends. We love you all.
Want to talk to us about the show? Send us an email at questions@whatsbeenbetter.com or hit us up on Instagram at whatsbeenbetterpodcast.
Thanks for listening.